I want to change. I want to make this change, but I can't imagine doing this for the rest of my life. It's a real problem, so I don't know what to do next. One of the easiest way I found, or the best way to help people I coach and to coach myself, is to think about life as a series of books that I'm writing. And other people talk about chapters in your life, but I like to think about it as a series of either picture books or young adult fiction. Whatever genre you want to pick that you really enjoy, choose that as your framework. That's the foundation. So for me, I choose it as young adult fantasy novels. They're short, they have a clear plot, an easy plot to follow, and the whole point of it is to actually be able to read them, enjoy them. The characters they're not too complicated. And I'm not talking about these thick trilogies where it goes into world making and there's 17 different plots. I'm talking about a simple book. One of my favorites is called The Changeling Sea. And it's about a girl who loses her father to the sea, and she learns that she has magic within her. And she curses the sea before she realizes this. And the adventures come out afterwards. So for me, how I think about my year is that it is one small book. And I choose the next steps, the changes I'm going to make, so that it will last the year and that it will be one book. And you can just read that book and finish it, and it's done. It's a tale in itself. And then if I choose, I can carry some of the characters, some of the themes into the next book. But I can choose what I carry and what I change. Other people may find that they prefer picture books. I have a really dear friend of mine. She works as a speech pathologist for very small children. And so she has this enormous collection of picture books, toys. Everywhere we go, she is looking at a little Miffy character, paraphernalia, and a picture book. She has storage loads of these toys and books. And so for her, someone like her, it would be a series of picture books. Simple characters, beautiful pictures. She illustrates her own books. And for her, I'm sure she would have a delightful time thinking about what would her picture book of the year be about. And I love picture books as well, but my go-to, my first instinct was fantasy young adult fiction, because I thrived on them. When I first read fantasy books, I was 10 years old. And up until that point, I hadn't really been all that enthralled. I hadn't really delved into fantasy. At school, our teacher, she gave us a genre of books, and we had to read 3, 4 during that period of time, say a few weeks or a month. And she circled through different genres so that we could be exposed to lots of different types of books. And I'm ever thankful to Miss Whitmarsh, because it opened for me this amazing world of fantasy. And all of the things that were possible that I'd never thought of, I never dreamed of, that weren't part of my life. What it did was it allowed my brain and my adventures to be so full of amazing possibilities that I could never have thought of, that I'd never seen, that weren't part of my past. That's why I choose fantasy novels as my year. And what I like to do is I like to name my book for the year. So it's your book of the year. And what are you going to name it? I decided to make this video because I just got off a coaching call with someone going through a lot of change, and we talked about what she's aiming for this year. And she has been looking at fashion design. She said to me, that's not what I want to do forever. And I had to explain to her, it doesn't have to be forever. It's the adventure for now. So we decided to talk about her year being her first book, and we named it Learning Magic 101. It helped her think about, oh, this next adventure, I don't have to think about it as forever. It is just this year. And then what I can do is, once this book is written, once I've had all my adventures for this year, I can think about next year as a new book, and I can bring in new adventures. I put this challenge to you. Try thinking about this coming few months as one book. Think about the adventures you want to have for this very near future, because it doesn't have to be forever. You can finish your book and start a new one next year. But try and think of one thing you want to do this year, this new adventure. Take the time, be brave, be courageous, and plan this trip. But don't plan forever. Plan very quickly, do a bit of research, find what it is you want to do, and then set off on your adventure. You don't have to write it before you start acting. The acting is writing this book. Every time you wake up and you decide to take another step on this adventure, you're writing that next line. The conversations you have throughout your day, they are the conversations in your book. You don't have to remember them all. It's okay. Living them, going through them, having that adventure is your book. I hope that it's fun and that it is full of adventure and that it's exciting and joyful. And also make sure it's beyond your wildest imagination, because you don't want to relive everything that you've lived up until now. Try living something that you didn't even realize could happen, that it was never even an option. Leave a comment on what you would call your first book and who you take on your adventure. I'd love to read about it. I'd love to hear what adventures you're going to have this year. Enjoy.